Welcome to Meet The Afroballers Season 2, okay? I told y'all before, this is a historical season. We're coming to you live from the FIBA house in partnership with FIBA at the 2024 Summer Paris Olympics. Paris Summer Olympics. Figure it out how you want to. It's all the same. However, we have a very historical episode today. You know that typically we dive into stories behind sports and headlines that are shaping our world. And today we have members of a team that have done exactly that. We have the honor of speaking with the heart and soul of the Nigerians. I'm trying not to get emotional as I say this because, we talk about history. It's very not often that you get to live it and experience it in the making. However, we have members of the Nigerian women's national basketball team. This is a squad that has captured the heart of the world. The world, not a country, not a sport, not an Olympic season, the world, with their remarkable journey. So joining us today, our head coach, Rena Wakama, a trailblazer who has redefined coaching on the African continent. My girl, Ezinne Kalu, who is a fearless playmaker who's consistently led with heart and determination. And my girl, Promise Amukamara, a dynamic force whose skill and resilience and social presence have made her a standout on and off the court. Together, we'll explore their recent victories, the challenges that they're faced, but also their vision for the future of African basketball. So let's jump right into the conversation with the champs, okay? We're just going to call it like what it is. With the champs. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm so good.
Good.
Look, I think that, I'm real since I'm like, look, there are conversations I have to have, and there's some that I want to have. And this is one that I was very much looking forward to. Obviously, you all are coming out of the week of your lives. Is it safe to say so?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
Tell me one moment, because there's like 17 million, out of this week where you've been like, mama, for real, this is happening. Just like one call, one tweet, one moment, one feeling. We'll go around the mics and just kind of say what that is for you.
Yeah. I guess I open up.
Yes, coach, of course we open up.
The first win when we jumped out on Australia, and I was like, damn, we're here. We're here.
Energy.
Like, the girls came to play. There's no fear in their hearts, and I knew we were going to win that game.
Yeah. I love that. Promise, what you got?
Yeah, I would say that too, but then also following it up with the win over Canada. That's when we made the historic event happen of qualifying for the quarterfinal.
Okay, hold on, pause. I'm going to have you, I'm going to rephrase that for you because forever and a day from here on out, when you say that, you have to say being the first.
Yes.
Men and women.
Yeah.
Women, and for a second, I was at home and I was seeing the headlines. Girl, I was going crazy. I never had X fingers, Twitter fingers, whatever they call them these days. And I was like, can y'all get that correct? This is women's and men's, okay? Please put some respect.
Yeah.
African team to qualify for the quarterfinals. We saw it with. So yes, I'm sorry. I just couldn't let you just go off without.
Respect.
I love that. What about you, Ezinne?
The same for me. I mean, I feel like the huge wins against Australia, the number 3 team in the country, and then against Canada, who were, I think, number 7 at the time. Now they're 11. Yes. No shade there. But those are huge for us. And for us to do that and be the first men and women, it was just, the feeling was unheard of. Like, my phone been on Do Not Disturb since then.
I'm about to send a notification.
Instagram followers is up.
Numbers going up. I love it. But we love that for us because we'll talk about that later. But I think also I was cracking up because I was just like, man, we talk about making memes and GIFs and everything. And obviously, we have that moment on the floor where I'm just like, yo, this is insane. Like, somebody give us on a t-shirt. You know what I mean? I love that. But look, that was a great win, but you also had a very redefining moment. So reflecting on that monumental victory against the then number 3 team in the world, which was Team USA, which really, I think, stunned fans globally. Can you talk a little bit about the emotions and the strategy that led to, really, that was an upset, and what was going through you all's minds when that final buzzer sounded?
For me personally, with Australia, when that buzzer sounded, for starters, the game felt like it took forever.
Yes. Oh my God.
48 minutes what?
Yeah, the game felt like it took forever. But once that clock struck 0, I mean, the emotion, I was literally crying with a minute left because I'm like, this is so unreal. I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's been a victory, but 20 years ago. So for us to do that in this amount of time and with such a huge gap from back then was just an amazing feeling. Like, I know the girls felt it. I know they saw me on the court still crying. My coaches told me game not over yet, one more minute. But it was
together,
it was
together.
extremely overwhelming, but it felt so good to do something special and to hear we won the heart of the fans as well. So to hear the fans cheering for us, it was just an amazing feeling.
Speaking of the fans, I mean, let's give some light to that 16th, sixth man on the court, wherever. Obviously, you guys' game the other day, was incredible. What has that fan base support been like every single time you look at the stands, knowing that there are people who are there just for y'all? And then, I mean, how important is that in fueling this whole entire journey?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. Like, when we scored our first bucket against Australia and everyone was cheering for us, I was like, wait a minute, are we serious here? And I think it also gave them some fuel and some passion, too, to hear people supporting us because, you don't see that too often. It's a sold-out arena for an 11 o'clock a.m. game, right? So outside of us, like, where women's basketball is going is amazing.
Yeah.
And then, too, yesterday, when we scored our first bucket, they were cheering for us.
Man, because we were there to see y'all.
literally.
Right.
So like it's humbling. We're thankful, and we hope that we were able to. Obviously, we did, but continue to push this movement that we have going.
And I asked that question because I think that sometimes, especially for women's sports, take that up a notch, especially for African women's sports. We sometimes underestimate the value of having a supporting fan base, and yes, that does go into spending money and buying merchandise and spending money on tickets, but also literally just being a butt in the seat, screaming and hollering. I think that sometimes the fans, might not necessarily know if it's not from the players that actually is a huge difference maker. So, I definitely asked that question. Now, look, you all are 3-time back-to-back Afro basket champions, which is, on a global stage, what does it mean for y'all to carry that,
4-time.
Sorry. 4. Sorry. 4 times. I'm going to say,
baby.
It's been so many. It's just like, come on, just give them all the, give them all the last, get it correct. Okay. My bad on that one. But what does it mean, obviously for y'all to represent that, not only as the most populous Black nation, but also it's almost like the hopes and dreams of an entire continent, specifically on the women's side of basketball, and the diaspora. Let's be real. It's not just necessarily the continent. It's the diaspora as a whole as well. Does that come with a very heavy sense of responsibility, in a way?
Yeah, I think so. For sure. I was there for the first 3 Afro baskets. I wasn't there for the 4th one class. Some family things that I had to, get through and deal with. But, that means there's a target on our backs for sure. Everybody wants to beat Nigeria because we're the best in Africa, men and women. I don't think we've lost a game in years. So it definitely is a huge deal.
That is, I mean, we were here at the FIBA House lately. I'm like, you say years. I'm like, I was in my head, I was counting. I was like, yeah, that's decade. There's a decade there. There's a long period of time there.
Yeah.
And when you say a target on your back, I'm sure that's not necessarily from a negative connotation.
No, for sure not.
Yeah.
We're just getting everyone's best shot every night.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think teams. Sorry to cut you off, Ivy, but I think teams, like, when they see, like, with USA, for example, in order to be the best, you have to beat the best.
Yeah.
And right now,
10 more times.
and right now with Africa, Nigeria, we just happen to be the best.
Yeah.
And everybody wants that top spot. So when I say target, like you said, it's nothing negative, but everybody wants to be the best. Exactly, it's a goal.
Yeah.
And everybody wants that top spot.
Not me in my head. But I love that. And also, after such a dominant presence, like obviously here and also in the Olympics, granted, making history and achieving the was great. But, when we talk about, is it too soon to talk about what's next? Like, have y'all even had a chance to process, what the next target or what the next goal is?
No. If they know me, like, my brain is always going, right? So I'm super happy. I'm thankful. I'm going to bask in it. But there's a target on the back. And we got to maintain, we set the standard, and we got to keep going. This is not it for us. Mm-hmm. Everyone thinks no. Yeah. To me and us, we want so much more. We want to get on the podium.
It's almost like we're just getting started. It sound good, right? Yeah, just getting started. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
like I said, it's a blessing, but we got some more work to do.
Because to whom much is given, also, a whole heck of a lot is expected, right? Okay. And with that being said, obviously, this journey to success on so many multiple levels has undoubtedly been filled with highs, and lows. But can y'all share, maybe each one of y'all, a story from the locker room or, or during a game that truly encapsulates the heart, the spirit. And what I love the most about you all, it's visible. I don't know if y'all follow them on socials, but it's real. It's really real. The camaraderie, and that I mean the friendship, the unique bond, and Coach, you can speak to this too, that I think truly is an asset in driving this team forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. They naturally get along. Like, I've been blessed to have a great group.
Yeah.
Right? It's really not much of my coaching skills. They're a phenomenal woman.
Yeah.
Right? So they're easy to coach. They're easy to lead because they do it themselves.
Yeah.
They embody everything I asked for themselves
Yeah.
already. So,
Yeah.
But you guys can speak on what you
I definitely
decide.
agree with Coach and Promise. I mean, she's one of my best friends. I love the
Girl, I
girls.
swear in my head I'm y'all's bestie. I be in the grill like, dog, oh God, like, you guys need a show. I just said it, like, it's coming soon. I don't know if you have time in your
Yes.
schedule.
Speak into existence.
But I'm definitely manifesting some sort of series. I'd be like, what do they do in their spare time? Like, I
Creating
love
content.
it.
Exactly, credit content. It's a lot easier.
I'll executive produce it. I got you.
It's a lot easier when you have a group of girls who actually enjoy being around each other, hanging out, eating lunch together, dinner together. Like, everything we've been through together as a group, as a whole. And, that's all we want to play for and fight for at the end of the day once we step on the court.
Yeah, I love that. What about you, Ron?
I think just like the bond that we share outside the court, like she said, creating TikToks with one another. We all love getting our makeups done.
We're going to talk about this. Put a pin right there on that, okay?
We love getting cute.
Yeah.
Everyone has such huge personalities, and so us coming together and meshing real well, it's a blessing. We all look at each other as like sisters, and
for sure.
I love that.
It's more than
I
off
love
the
that.
court.
Yeah. And it's easy to tell, right? I think that, like you said, sometimes when people do have big personalities, the notion is that there's not enough room for everybody's big personality, but somehow, some way,
Yeah.
y'all find a way of allowing everybody to be specifically who they are
Right.
without having to, without it being competitive or whatever in the
Yeah.
capacity. Now, look, as a Kenyan American, as somebody who understands duality in its greatest form, balancing dual identities, being born in the U.S. I was born in Kenya, but being born in the U.S. while representing a country, specifically on the international stage, it has a very unique perspective. You know what I mean? So, how has this influenced your life first and foremost? Because we could go on for days about the stories. I've always said we got to create a show just about like being an African American for real. Like, that's a series that will last forever. But not only on your personal life, but specifically like on your playing style, your coaching style, but also your connection with your teammates and your approach to the overall game, because it's a lot. So is there a situation whereby in sometimes it's advantageous and in others it's disadvantageous?
What do you think? I think sometimes for me, for the most part, it's definitely advantageous. Whatever the word you just said. That was a tough one. But I think because, like, okay, me personally, my mom is American and my dad's Nigerian. So I grew up with my mom, so I have more of the American culture. And when I visit Nigeria, I have more of that Nigerian culture. But it definitely plays a huge part when I'm with the national team because it turns me into a whole different person. Now I'm like talking to my Nigerian accent. Now I'm looking for Nigerian food.
Niger food.
Now I'm like getting into my pidgin English. So it kind of shifts my personality, but also just my leadership because I am the youngest on my mom's side, and it kind of makes me pick on a more role, like a bigger sister role once I'm with the national team. So it's a little it's an advantage for sure, for the most part.
I love that. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I would say it's an advantage as well. I think we all come from like the same upbringing in the household, like the Nigerian household, like, go to school, make sure you're getting good grades.
No grades, no practice.
Yes.
You know the vibes,
Being respectful, all that stuff.
The values that come from those.
Exactly. And then coming together, we all know because it's similar. And so I think it's an advantage, I guess, in that area.
For the most part. Because
yeah.
obviously it's very unique in that you share that now with your players, can relate, you know, and I have hats off to you because I think we're talking about this off camera. It's a conversation that's bubbling for certain, that there is definitely this bridge that has now grown over the diaspora with a lot of us finding our roots, and I don't even say finding our roots, it's finding our way back to the continent, because it's not like we were never rooted, we always were, but it's finding a way to serve, right, in the same capacities and the same interests and hobbies that we have, but taking that home, right? So for you, I'm just interested to see and hear from you how your experience being who you are and having the same background as your players, how that has helped. And it's not like it hasn't hurt. So we just gonna say helped your coaching of the team.
Yeah, it's definitely been an experience and a challenge. But ever since I was a kid, I always said I want to go home. My mom was like, my dad was like why? I want to go home.
We didn't come all the way.
I want to go home.
All the way back.
I want to go home. And that's what I'm going to keep saying because, you know, in America, the opportunity will always be there. But to me, I feel like my purpose in my ministry is to go home and serve and uplift everyone back there. Girls, young females, young coaches, just sports in general. For whatever reason, sports has not been a big thing in Africa, right? Parents say, go to school, be a doctor.
Doctor, lawyer, engineer. And here we all are, just
shooting hoops.
Just shooting hoops and making history. But hey, I ain't the one to say nothing, you know?
So, like, I knew there was an avenue. If someone gave me a chance, I was going to shoot it through the hoop. I knew I was. So I got the chance. Thank God for MBBF and President Keita and these girls for helping me, you know, get in this position. But we have so much talent, right? Nigeria, if you look in any industry, there's a Nigerian at the top.
Listen, should we
It doesn't
start?
matter. It doesn't matter. So, like, why can't we also do it in sports?
Yeah.
So I feel like my calling is to come home and bring that and make sure other people come home and serve because we're more than capable of making Nigeria a better place. But it has to start with us. We have to come home.
Yeah.
We got to come home. So.
But also, I mean, let's debunk the myth, right? I think that to your point, and, you know, I think it's still hilarious that we have this conversation, but I think it's so important because there's a generation of kids and parents that still need to hear this. It's not like we weren't unsuccessful in the duties that were given to us in terms of going to school,
right?
In terms of getting great degrees, right? In terms of having careers, because you look at the number of female athletes and really athletes in general of our heritage who are well-studied, went to really great schools,
right.
I mean, Ivy, whatever have you, and are still able to balance athletics and life. I mean, can you just speak to the ability of the value of our background, but also helping us be more than an athlete, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely different. I feel like, you know, having the advantage of, you know, having that background of that culture and, you know, really allowing your child to follow their dreams and exactly what they want to do. At the end, it kind of works out. I mean, a lot of times there's expectations and limitations on us to be this way, but there's never really different avenues for us to just find our own way and say, listen, I can still be successful if I do this my way. I can still be successful if I follow my dream. And I think that's what it's all about, you know, and there's so many different avenues now in college with NIL deals and with all the different sponsorship that kids can get now, social media now, there's so many different things that can honestly make you a successful athlete, you know, whether you did go to college or you didn't go to college. There's so many different avenues and things that can kind of put you in a position that you want to be and exceed those expectations that your parents might have put on you or your family in that matter.
Right. And let's talk about that a bit. I was talking earlier about this as well, too, with NIL and the space in which it is. I'd just love to hear your opinion on the path to, especially, granted, you know, most of us here have U.S. citizenship and or have that affiliation. But how long do you think it is up until international students have the opportunity to then benefit from, you know, NIL deals and partnerships? Granted, it's in the works, it's in the lobbying process and such, but if you had to add your 2 cents to that space, given that a lot of our girls specifically are now coming in here in college and high school, what is the importance for, you know, legislators and or decision-making bodies to consider the value of that for international students, you know?
Yeah, I think it's super important. And then, like you said, it's coming. And it's only going to continue to make our game get better and rise, right? Yeah. So it's all about the athletes, and I think we have to continue to take care of the athletes, but we can't ask students to come from abroad and not treat them equally
In the same capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's coming, and as a college coach, I think it's only going to make us better.
Better. Okay, now here's $1 million question. Because obviously there was the option to play for Team USA. If that should have been your choice, it was. But talk about just, and Coach, you mentioned for you it was a lifelong calling from a young age, right? But for y'all too, I want to know, like, what is it that's that burning desire and that burning fire that's like, you know what, I want to represent my country. I want to, make this option happen. What was it that drove you to make the decision to play for Team Nigeria?
Well, me and Z started when we were in 2015. We were on the younger team. We got called to
2011.
No, yeah, 2011. My bad, 2011.
Yeah.
And we got called to play on the junior national team, and I didn't know anything about Nigeria having a team, whatever. I just went because I knew it was going to make my parents happy and they were going to be okay with it. So
I love the honesty.
yeah, so that's why I went. And then being around all the girls, being around girls that looked like me, came from the same background as me, that was inspiring. And so I just wanted to keep, playing for Nigeria and being in contact with the group of girls. And so year after year, I just decided to stay because it just felt like home, playing with girls that come from the same background as you. Like I said, it just felt as like home.
Yeah, I love that.
I agree. I mean, when we first started with the younger team, I had no idea about Nigeria team.
How was that
Nigeria at all.
experience like? I just want to know. Like that first year, I just want to know. Like, talk about culture shock, possibly.
Not even gonna, like, real talk.
Yeah.
The experience was great.
Yeah.
Like, we traveled to, like, the Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
We went to France, played in a tournament. It was absolutely great.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have the best gear. We didn't have the best gear and the best travel methods, but it was fun. Like,
y'all made it though.
we made it, and it was exciting because
Right.
this is our first time being introduced to Nigerian
Global-
basketball,
yeah.
global basketball on
competition.
that matter at our
Right.
age. I was a sophomore in college.
Right.
I had no idea I was going to go from HBCU playing, representing the whole country. So it was an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
But also too, on the back end, I'm thinking, I mean, let's keep it real. The opportunity pool for Team USA is really small.
Fam, I'm just saying though.
Really
I'm talking
small.
about? Yeah.
And with me coming from an HBCU, I'm competing with girls that went to UConn, went to Syracuse, went to Stanford,
D1,
went to
all types of programs.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I definitely got the opportunity to play for Team Nigeria, I didn't even think about that back then. But now that I am playing for Team
Yeah.
Nigeria, I'm like, I made the right choice
Right.
because there's no way I would have been able to sneak in the opportunity with the Diana Taurasi's and the Sue Birds and the opportunity pool back then was just way too small.
And I think what's crazy is, and we'll talk about this next, is the growth of women's basketball globally. But I think it's really interesting is you look at the men's side, for example, when we're watching, obviously, all the Olympic competitions that were taking place. I think the number, it's like a crazy number. It's like 167 players from the NBA playing in the Olympics. So it's not like, so it's like, to your point, yes, you might not be on Team USA with said players, but you're playing at the Olympics against said players.
Right.
It's the same competition pool,
Exactly.
and it's using an advantage, to your point, that not many people have the liberty to do in a very authentic and natural way without having to go through. And no knock to anybody who chooses to make a decision to renaturalize for said opportunity, but it's like, I got 2 passports. I got a blue passport, I got a green passport. So it's like, hey, you know what I mean?
A win is a win.
You gotta say that. I love that. Now, look, let's talk about, obviously, women's basketball, women's sport across the globe is experiencing an unprecedented boom, one unlike we've ever seen. Then we come to Africa, right? And it's like, how do you feel about the energy for that space on the continent? And I asked this the other day where I was like, when are we going to see a WBAL? When are we going to see other opportunities for women to play professionally? How are you all lending your voices to the expeditious nature of that? It's like, great, I understand that you have to establish a proof of concept. I understand that it has to be profitable and the other things have to be put in place. But why do women gotta wait? I'm just curious to see what you all's opinions are, you know what I mean, on that opportunity for women to play professional basketball on the continent.
Me?
This is a question. I
I
just,
mean-
but your voices do matter. That's
Yeah.
why, yeah.
It takes, honestly, like you said, it takes a plan for starters. Well, even before the plan, it takes a group of people, whether it's 1, 2, 3, it takes a group of people to sit down and say, listen, we got to get Africa on the map. It starts with getting our women athletes on board and bringing people into the space who actually know what basketball is about and not just trying to make profit or money off of it, correct? And then after that, you put your plan together. Not a 1-year plan, not a 2-year plan, but a 5-year, 10-year plan, something that's long for the now players and the players that's coming up. And then I feel like once you have that foundation, it's so much easier for you to be like, okay, now let's find players, let's find these leagues, let's find these tournaments so that these girls can play and be on a national level. Once you have that, now it's okay, televised. Let's get some networks. Let's get the radio down here. Let's get people. Let's get the social
visibility
media
and everything.
visibility and everything. Then after you have the visibility, you bring the fans, you bring the people, of Africa. There's a lot of Africans. Nigerian,
Honey.
Senegalese, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. You have so many
Pick one,
Africans.
east, west, north, south, yeah.
Whatever it is, I feel like a lot of Africans will come out and support whatever the sport is.
Yeah.
We just
If
need
they're
people-
aware.
Exactly, if they're aware of what's going on. And I think if we have those people who kind of say, okay, let's buckle down and let's actually get together and create something special,
Yeah.
like how they do with the NBA or the WNBA or the BAL, for example.
Yeah.
BAL is a perfect example. Why not make it a WBAL? You know, I feel like whatever you do for the men, there has to be a dynamo effect for the women.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, don't you have a male and female bathroom? Don't you have a it
Sooner
has to-
rather than later.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So I feel like it just takes the right people to just sit down and come up with something and really stand on business.
Yeah.
See, project manager.
That's what I said. I was like, ma'am, like you still got a lot of basketball to play. We're gonna call Amadou and be like, look, I got somebody who I think is ready.
Right.
With tons of ideas. Tons.
Right, but coach, also from basketball is a massive operation, and yes, there are players on the court, and that is the focal point, so to speak. But from a coaching standpoint, from a staffing standpoint, what are your thoughts, your hopes, your ambitions, to really be able to, and I know that right now you're probably receiving a host of messages from everywhere, right? Because there are so many yous that want to exist. There's so many yous that do exist, but lack maybe the support, the infrastructure, the education, the knowledge, the resources, but, leadership is key, right? So what is, talk to us a little bit about your thoughts and game plan. Not because you don't have a whole team to coach and multiple teams to coach and things to do, but in terms of uplifting that sector, the coaching sector and the infrastructure that surrounds the girls.
Yeah. I think just looking at my life is a living testimony. Like, I wasn't a high major coach before I got the job. I was a low mid-major coach, assistant coach at that. I've only been coaching for 5 years before I became a head coach. But I knew, like, if I was given the opportunity, I was going to crush it. So I put my head down, I worked. I surrounded my staff with people that were really good people, one. I think that's a key thing. Like, your village has to be tight. And my village is super tight. And my belief is super tight. My faith in God is super tight.
Hallelujah. Amen.
And when you're operating in your calling, like, things will happen for you. And honestly, like I said, people told me not to take this job. People told me I wasn't ready. People told me I wasn't the one.
They probably called you crazy too at some point.
Yeah. But like, I'm telling you, like, the God I serve is amazing. And he literally checked every box for me. Like, every obstacle that we went through as a team, personally too, like, he superseded anything. So you got to keep going. My inspiration to people is like, look at my life. I'm a girl. I'm 32 years old, right? Look at my life, and you can do anything you put your mind to if you just put your head down and work and pray.
Yeah.
And have your village tight. So
I love it.
Might I add, she did it with style and grace.
I was gonna say, what is
the
y'all-
Dior.
I was gonna say,
Style and
what
grace,
is
coach.
y'all's favorite thing about Coach Rena? Like, what if you had to pick, or maybe a few, because it might be a whole. I know it's a whole heck of a lot, but what do you love the most about your coach, and what would you want the world? I mean, obviously we know that. Yes, we know the winning history. Look, I'm sorry I had to do it. I'm gonna have to do it, but I'm saying, like, we know that there's the on court, obviously, but what that we don't see is your most favorite thing about your coach?
I would say her passion.
Yeah,
I feel like her passion exudes so much energy. It exudes
Yes.
just so much fight. And when we see her on the coaching on the sideline, we see ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna be her one day. You know, she was us a few years
A
ago.
little while ago, right?
A little
You know
while
what I
ago.
mean,
So,
right?
I mean, and she does it so well, even when, you know, there's a run being made, or even when there's, you know, things are going left. She just handles it so well under pressure, and I think that's why I admire most about her, the way she just stays calm through everything and just navigates through the storm and keep her head high, as beautiful as she is. And yeah, for sure, the passion is my number one favorite thing about her.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
to piggyback off what Ezinne said, yeah, her passion for sure, like, and her, like, she has, like, this grit to her, like, when she gets us, like, going.
in that huddle.
Yeah, yeah.
No, y'all be looking so. I swear, I'll be like, ooh.
Yeah.
The feeling is palpable. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, when we're in practice, the way she, like, she just gets us going, you know, whenever we're lacking or relaxing, trying to play it cool in practice, like, she's on our butts and stuff. And so, that's what I like about her, and I just love that she's also very caring and has all of our backs.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. Like, okay, so look, you brought it up because y'all said beautiful. Y'all's whole team. I be like, dog, like, I'm talking about deals and NIL deals. Actually, I was on LinkedIn the other day because, you know, I said I switched my socials. Look, I turned the gram off and a few other things. I was like, I gotta get serious. I gotta get on my business. I gotta figure some things out in my life. I've been spending a lot of time with Atlanta LinkedIn. And you know who popped up? Y'all. And you want to know what the comment? I will find it. I will share it too. Yes. And the conversation was about how beautiful, like, Team Nigeria is and what we can do to figure out, like, a lot of deals and sponsorship deals and beauty brands, because it's like, you know, girl, I think that sometimes, and we're seeing this now across the space where beauty brands are now investing in women's sports because I guess the narrative is now changing and there's more visibility to the fact that, yes, I get my hair done and my nails done and my face done and go play a whole 48 minutes and do it looking real beat, okay? But, you know, let's talk about, you know, why that's so important. I know you can talk for everybody on the team, but to you all specifically, you know what I mean, to keep yourself up while you're playing. And if you want to shoot some shots of some brands that can send some stuff, you know what I mean, your way, I feel like, hey, why not? You know what I mean? You know?
I just feel like for me, it's look good, play good. Like, so I'm always trying to look good on the court, especially off the court. And I think me doing my makeup and stuff, it just, what's that word?
Makes you feel like you're that girl.
Yeah, and
Look, just say it. Sometimes it be what it is. It's just that simple. It's because
and it's just a way to express myself, and I love it.
I love that. I love that. I love that. But say, what about? Because y'all also be vibing. I'm clearly a former DJ, and you know y'all always have the vibes going. You know what I mean? Always making TikToks like, yes, I know.
He's the vibe.
I know. You saw.
Always got the speaker. Always.
I was looking at the question. Okay. So I can't just put a new album that I was vibing to a little while ago. But what's on your playlist? Like what's that looking like? Old, new, in between?
Old, new. Well, for me, I low-key have a slight case of OCD, so I have to arrange my playlist. I have to arrange my playlist.
You got the pregame, post-game, all the way to the game.
No, literally.
I'm like, I know because I'm
literally.
like,
I have a 90s playlist for like when I want to slow it down, give us some old school vibes.
Yeah.
And then I have my Afrobeats playlist where I kind of want to get us in the mood, get us real energetic. And then I have the game day vibes where I'm like, okay, now it's time for us to like
turn up.
to turn up again, right?
Right.
But I feel like it's important to kind of like supply the vibes and have the energy because people need that. You know, you have some players that have their headphones and that want to mentally lock into their own space, and that's great. But also times too is also when you have that music and you hear your Afrobeats playing and you know this guy that singing is from where I'm from and I'm about to go put on a show and play for my country, it kind of makes everybody amped up and kind of everybody ready to play.
Let me ask you that too. Obviously, Nigeria and Africa as a whole have experienced numbers. We've just been doing numbers for the last, I don't even know how long.
Baby.
Right.
Yeah. The culture.
Honey, we are the okay? High key. When I was talking to Mel the other day, I was like, yo, he was wearing Max Sosa at like Fashion Week. And it's not just music. I think that sometimes we see music and because maybe that's what applies to most people. We're like, okay, Afro beats this. No, music, fashion, acting, sports, politics, this, that, and the third. But does it mean something to y'all? Like the intersection between music and sports, does that add a little just like, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna listen to said person and yeah, it's Nigeria all day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, definitely. And me, like, I feel like I listen to Nigerian music all the time.
Yeah.
Even back home in my car, it's always Afro beats because I feel like that's who I am. Like I'm Nigerian through and through,
Facts.
and I want to hear vibes, whether it's a slow jam, whether it's a fast beat, whether it's a sake or a Timmy or anybody, Irish Star. Like
Yeah.
I want to hear those vibes because I feel like I connect to those people.
Same. I feel you. It's crazy. I was laughing because you know how they have this challenge that's like, I don't know, it's a little meme, whatever you call them. That they were like, whatever you listen to now or like your favorite music was inspired by your parents. And I was thinking about my kid, and I was like, oh, she's gonna be like Wizkid, Burna Boy, Sauti Soul, Diamond Platinums, and it's like so ingrained into who you are.
Yeah.
But you're right, it definitely adds a value of or added layer of identity.
Mm-hmm.
And to conclude this conversation before I allow you all to say a final thought, I think and I told you this guys off camera, that's what you all have added is a layer of identity to young women, not only in the States, but all across the world. Because now when they think about Olympic basketball, when they think about, Nigerian basketball, when they think about African basketball, they look and they see you and they see you and they see you, and it feels like them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it feels like them. And that hits a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That puts a little fire differently. It adds a little added, incentive to decision making. So you're going to see Team Nigeria and Team Kenya and Team whoever look a lot different than it ever has because of y'all, right? And so again, I really hope that y'all leave Paris, and I hope y'all. So hold on, okay, let's talk about. Okay, we have some time off now, a little bit of time off. What are you doing over these next couple of days in Paris, over these next couple of months to kind of unwind from the roller coaster that this year has been? Or is there off season? Because I asked somebody the other day, and they were like, "What off season?" I said, "Oh, okay,
That's what
maybe not, maybe not."
I gotta go back to work on Tuesday, so my last little 2 days I'm gonna enjoy here. But I'm a college coach, so we start school pretty soon.
I was gonna say, Coach, are you excited about are you taking this energy into Tulane's basketball season? Like for you, obviously it doesn't stop. You're just shifting programs. But do you feel like this added a little volt to your battery moving on to whatever's next?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just only going to take this energy and try to win with Tulane as well with my staff.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I just moved to NOLA. I love NOLA so far.
How's the one? Is there a Niger food in New Orleans?
There is.
There is?
There is. There's vibes there too. So
They're us, right?
man, it's us. But I'm super excited for
I
my
love
next
that.
step,
I
and I'm
love
looking
that.
forward to like being in
I
Tulane.
love that. And I think that, do you also feel as though these eyes that are now on you benefit, right? Essentially every program that you're attached to now. Like, is there any pressure on you, or do you just kind of feel like business per usual?
No pressure. I'm excited because it's only bringing more attention to women's basketball.
As a whole.
Like I always say, it's not about me, it's about women's basketball and the movement that we're making. So if I can take the world stage and bring it to the college stage, it's even better.
Right. I love that. What y'all got going on, man? Back to business per usual. Or you gonna take a little time off?
Well, I leave. Stay a couple days in Paris,
Yeah.
and then I go back home. I haven't signed for next season, so I'm just gonna be chilling in Phoenix.
I wasn't going to look, because I was going to be nice, and I wasn't going to be that podcaster that's like, so, you know what I
Breaking
mean?
news.
Like,
Where you
just
going?
breaking news. I mean, if you care to share, but so just giving it,
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back home to Arizona and chill,
Okay.
be with my family, take some time off, and then hopefully I'm signed by then.
I was going to say, how do you feel just about, again, the expansion of W, like your experience in the W, and what, with every season from like 2019, is it just like a compounding experience for you? And that, I mean, what do you appreciate just about, playing pro and continuing to expand your career in that capacity?
Yeah, so I didn't really play a whole season in the WNBA. I was cut after the second preseason game. But then I went to overseas and started my career over there. And it's been great, learning other people's cultures, learning different styles of play. It elevated my game and brought me to where I'm
I was
at
gonna,
today.
yeah, I was gonna say too. To your point, do you what's your encouraging word? Obviously, yes, there's lots of opportunities to play professional basketball.
Yeah.
Whether you get the opportunity to play pro basketball, obviously the W is expanding to allow more teams, and I think sometimes when we talk about the W, it's hard because there's not as many teams as there are in the NBA. So it's not necessarily a matter of a player not necessarily being good enough. It's just that there are not enough slots. You know what I mean? So for young girls who are continuing to pursue professional opportunities, what's your encouraging word? You know what I mean? For them to consider playing, overseas and or in emerging leagues, and there's so many of them coming up. So you have Unrivaled, and you have, Athletes Unlimited, and all of that. Yeah.
So I would just say continuing to chase your dreams, never give up on them. Like you said, there's expansions as far as Athletes Unlimited, and then that 3.
Yep, the 3-on-3 league.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then overseas.
Yep.
Overseas is an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Like you grow as a woman, as a person, and it's like I said, it's a great experience.
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, I would say the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Like, don't ever, and then you never know. You can always get back to the WNBA. There's 30-year-old rookies, so just never give up on your dream.
Yeah, I always say let's just eliminate age out of this space for us. Like it's truly a number. Continue to play, stay in shape,
Right.
take care of your body, take care of
Yeah.
you, hang on to your dream, and it all comes to you.
Right.
All right, Ezinne, bring us on home. I feel like you got the wise word to just close us on out.
He does. You see that deep
Yep, it's that deep sigh. I saw it.
And one thing about me, I like to talk.
Yeah.
But no, for me, I'm gonna spend a couple days here in Paris. Enjoy the nightlife, obviously. We leave.
Girl, I ain't been out yet, so I was gonna say just shoot me a text. Let me
We have a
know.
little something for the team going on tomorrow. So
Yes.
Yes.
Pull up.
yeah,
I
yeah,
will.
we have- yeah.
Say less. I will be there.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna enjoy my last few nights here in Paris. Go home, take like a week off, relax my body, get my mental together because it's been a lot. Get back in the gym and prepare to go to China in September.
Okay, I actually lie when I say it's my last, but I do have last question. Did you all have any interactions with South Sudan's team?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask
Yeah.
about that experience too. Like, what was that? Just being able to commune, you know what I mean, in the same space together, and what was really special about that experience?
It was nice. I mean, we were with them in the Lille village, and just to see like their energy, just like us. To see their energy, to see them playing, to see them potentially being the only other African team in the Olympics, it was just amazing to see. And just to be around them and hear their stories about being in South Sudan and how much they fought to be at the Olympics, it was just real humbling and nice to hear. We don't have our men's team here in the Olympics with us, so it was really refreshing to kind of see like a men's perspective coming from Africa and being able to do something special.
Yeah, well, I love that. Coach, do you have a second to obviously Coach Ivy is, an example of a coach who has invested in an opportunity in Africa. Did you have a second to parlay with him and the leadership of Coach of South Sudan, and just kind of what was the conversation about continuing to guide these teams into historical first?
Yeah, I mean, he's cool. Like, he actually messaged me yesterday and just like gave me some congratulations and a good push and like, hey, stay connected. But like, we're both trying to trailblaze this thing in Africa and change the way basketball is viewed and change the way Africa is viewed in general.
Right.
So like, it's super refreshing, and I'm happy that he's doing it too. So we're gonna stay connected and continue to work
I
together.
love that. Look, y'all, I will sit here and talk to y'all all day, every day about any and everything, but I do want to thank you for your time. Obviously, you all are. I got to meet IG friends in real life. Battle Jollof and all the things. And TJ was here. He was like, I'm literally just here to see the girls. And I was like, yeah, me too. But I think, again, it's always a pleasure. You all are Afroballers family, have been for a long time, will continue to be. We are so happy to continue to cover the journey, not only as a team, but as individual players. And we wish you a multitude of success. And again, congratulations on etching your name in places that will never get erased, okay? On behalf of FIBA, thank you for coming to the FIBA house and joining us right here on season 2 of Meet the Afroballers. Make sure y'all keep it locked, because, I mean, big things are going on, okay? Nigerian, they carry last. That's my last word. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank